are heading into the 10th of June 2020 for my friends out here in the tropical Western Pacific, and we do have an invest area, and it's also a low pressure area just towards the east of Mindanao, southeast of Visayas. Look at all this convection flaring up here on the infrared satellite imagery, actually enhanced IR, kind of give a clearer idea of where the low-level circulation is. Right about in there, you can see a bit on the low clouds on this IR imagery. It's much easier to see those low clouds in the daytime, but just where I'm showing right now, I think this is one of the best bets. You can pick that up here. ASCAD imagery confirms this with winds upwards of 20 to 25 knots just northeast of that center of circulation. Remember, this is basically these polar orbiting satellites that orbit the Earth from south to north, and they just go around twice a day. They'll pass this area. That's why you kind of have this little stretch right in here, because they pass by like this, and it measures the basically the movement of the waves along the surface of the ocean, and kind of gives you a rough idea of what the winds are. That's why you don't get that estimation over land. Just kind of a little brief explainer of what this ASCAD imagery actually is. Explain all that because you can get the forecast anywhere. Just go to Pagasa if you want the official forecast, but with these updates I try to explain what the models are kind of leaning towards and where the information is coming from. And right now, based on that ASCAD imagery, it really kind of shows the stronger winds towards the southeast, pushing off here towards the north, southeast of Visayas. So the ECMWF model really starting off pretty consistent with what we're seeing right now. And actually, I do expect this to just kind of drift towards the north. ECMWF also continuing to confirm that. And take a look at this. In fact, that moisture continues to move on shore with some of the heavier precipitation extending from central to northern Luzon. In fact, the GFS model does pick up on some areas, seeing upwards of about 200 to 300 millimeters just there around the Manila area, or even around parts of the NCR for that matter. And that would be enough to really cause some pretty decent flooding. I know we are wrapping up the dry season here. The rain is really needed, but as we all know, too much in a short period of time can cause that threat of flooding and even the potential for a little bit of landslides here. Now, as we go ahead, by the way, throughout the weekend and into really the Saturday over through Sunday, this is expected to move back out there just towards the northwest of Luzon, south of Taiwan, and south of Hong Kong, where it could spin up pretty decently as it moves into an area of favorable development, plus getting a little bit of extra exhaust associated with the rainy season front just there towards the north. So you see the placement of that rainy season front rather well on microwave imagery, just showing you the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, and you have this fueled up by the ITCZ down there towards the south. If it moved out here, it would get that lift and that extra moisture from the rainy season front. So we actually could see this named into a tropical storm west of Luzon, likely not towards the east. But that would not take away the threat of the impacts with this, with, of course, would be the threat of flooding across the Philippines as we go ahead through Thursday into Friday and by Saturday morning before this starts to move towards the north and west. So if you are across really much of Visayas, central, northern Luzon, actually, I mean, just take a look at the map of the Philippines here. I think everybody is going to be seeing some pretty decent rainfall with this, with the heavier precipitation located right in there. As I mentioned, few hundred millimeters possible with it before it does start to move back there towards the north. We got to keep an eye on it as it starts to head towards Hong Kong. Boy, I cannot understate the amount of conviction associated with this and its location. The good news is not a terribly defined low-level circulation, at least at this time, but there is a lot of convection. The conditions are ripe for a lot of rainfall to come with this, so definitely going to keep an eye on it as we look ahead through the course of the next few days. If you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please let me know down in the comment box below. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching and stay safe out there. Bye.